When you start getting close to retirement age, there are these three worlds of money that bark at you, and they all are saying they're the alpha. They're saying they're the only way to do it, but yet they're all selling you something. You're a Wall Street guy. That guy's an insurance guy. That guy's a bank guy. The fear that comes from how much I have to have saved often comes from, I don't understand all my options.
So there's a new retirement study asking if you wanted to spend $3,000 a month or $5,000 or $10,000, how much do you need to save in these different case scenarios? And then the quick information here, if you want to spend $3,000 a month, you need to have saved $300,000. And that includes Social Security. If you want $5,000 a month, it's $880,000. So that's almost triple the amount for an additional $2,000 a month, Mike. Now, if you're married with two Social Security payments, it becomes much less. Are these numbers realistic? Is it possible to get more income with a smaller nest egg? Is this another example of blanket information that we need to be very careful with?
Yeah, I think that it is a cautionary tale, right? So if you're going to use the rule of 4%, which is what this article implies, right? If I have $300,000, I can take 4% out and the money should last me 30 years. That rule's been around for about 30 years now. Mm-hmm. And it's not as foolproof as it used to be, but it's also not the most efficient way. It's not too far from being accurate. However, it's not as foolproof as it used to be. And whenever you talk to someone who's a retirement planner or financial advisor, basically anybody who's not a stockbroker, stockbrokers just sell you portfolios and they don't do any fiduciary level care and work for your portfolio. But if you have a stockbroker, they're going to tell you which investments to buy, not give you true fiduciary advice. But when you're dealing with the retirement planner, certified financial planner, true advisor, what they're going to do is they're going to walk you through all the different ways you can get income. A true fiduciary looks at all the options. And again, in my opinion, the true fiduciary looks at all the options and says what makes the most sense for you. So when you look at retirement income, there's going to be people who tell you all different types of options. You can do an annuity. You can do real estate. You can do structured notes. You can do dividends. You can do a rule of 4%, 60-40 portfolio. Those are all accurate. You've got to just figure out what makes the most sense for you and your family. If you come from a world where you love the stock market, you have a high risk tolerance, and you are comfortable with the fact that the market can go up and down and you can roll with it, then you probably want to use a market-based portfolio to build a successful retirement. And you can get more than 4% out if you're willing to take the risk and be okay with that. There's other people, though, who say, listen, I'm 65. I'm done with being hyper aggressive and I don't mind risking my portfolio, just not in my paycheck. I'd like my paycheck to be more secure. Well, then using something like a structured note or an annuity, the right kind of annuity, not the bad kinds of annuities, those can make sense. And people come in all the time. And as we sit down or they'll reach out from the program and say, hey, I was just proposed this annuity. What do you think about it? And I walk them through what I think. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it whatever, and you can get a good feel for it. But understanding that each family is different and unique and that there are these different worlds of money who are always trying to sell you. And you just have to be aware of that. So while this numbers of 300,000 or 800,000, those are just using a simple 4% withdrawal rule. And our life isn't a simple rule. There's stuff that happens. There's things that come at you from different ways. Social Security benefits matter. Do I have a pension? Does that matter? What is my health situation? Does that matter? Is there a big age gap in you and your spouse? Because that matters. There's a lot of things that factor in. Several years ago, we bought this house and the neighbors all have dogs. So now when I let my dog out to the bathroom at 3 a.m, he goes out, goes to the bathroom, and then he goes to the corner of the lot and barks at the other houses. And then within 20 minutes, one of these other dogs is outside because it now has to go to the bathroom and it's barking at our house. Those are the 3 dogs. They all act like they're the alpha, but they're none able to do anything about it. They just want to be established in themselves. When you start getting close to retirement age, there are these 3 worlds of money that bark at you. And they all are saying they're the alpha. They're saying they're the only way to do it, but yet they're all selling you something. Yeah. The first world of money is banks. I love our credit union. I've been at the same credit union since I was 16 years old. And they will tell you, listen, put your money here. We'll get you some certificates of deposit, which we call certificates of disappointment. And then you will put your money here. You'll get something. We even have an investor here, but they'll probably be a bank manager next week. So don't get attached to them. And then they will just invest your money and they'll keep it here. You say, okay, I can get a CD. Is it safe? Yes, it's safe. Is it liquid? I mean, pretty much. You can get your money out, but if you go to the bank right now and say, give me $100,000 out of my account, they're going to be like, we don't keep that kind of money at the bank anymore. And you got to wait days and all this stuff. So there's the banks. Then there's the Wall Street people. And the Wall Street people will tell you, you know what? The market wins over time, and they're right. 70% of the time, the markets are good in any given decade. That's correct. The market will earn you more than it'll lose you if you leave it in over time. That's accurate. Is it liquid? Yes. Is it safe? No. You can lose it all, but diversify. And if you diversify well, you can eliminate 91% of the risk. Okay, that's cool. What's the negative? There's no guarantees, right? If the market's down and you're trying to take income out of it, there's some negativity there. It's called sequence of returns risk. So you got the bankers world that's barking, you got the Wall Street world, and then you got insurance salesmen. And the insurance salesmen come tell you, just put your money in annuity and you'll never have a worry ever again. The sun will always shine over your house, right? And everything's this big rosy picture of you put your money in annuity and what could go wrong. And then you say, okay, great. Can I get my money out of the annuity? Yes, it will give you income. But no, like if I want to pull the whole thing out, can I get it? Nope, it's tied up. Okay, well, are there fees? Sometimes some annuities have no fees. Some have 5% in fees. That's crazy. And you say, well, I don't want to pay 5% in fees. I just want to build a portfolio. But can you get income? Yeah, you can get really high levels of income that's contractually guaranteed, has no market risk, but you can't get your money out. So there's no perfect world. I don't think that the insurance people are perfect, nor I think they're complete villains. There's bad salesmen who sell you junk and then they run down the road and sell it to the next person.
But that's in any industry. That's in any industry. That's Wall Street. That's
they will do that.
That's in any industry. There are going to be junk salespeople.
Absolutely. And they're not fiduciaries. They are just suitability only. Then you say, all right, well, then I'll go to the Wall Street guys. Well, Wall Street guys act more like stockbrokers. There are very few who will give you the time of day. You call the Fidelity offices, you call whatever, you call the corporate headquarters, you're on an 800 number line, and they're going to sell you some stocks and some stuff, but they won't give you tax advice. They won't give you estate planning advice. They won't help you work through your insurances. They won't do any of that stuff. Why? Because they're a stockbroker. Now, again, I'm not saying that. There are Wall Street people who are good fiduciary level advisors. There are insurance guys who are good fiduciary level advisors. There are bank people who are really, really good people, but they cannot build a successful long-term portfolio for you, in my opinion, because almost everybody who does the portfolios at a bank is then going to get a promotion to go be a bank manager and go do some other job within the bank. They didn't commit their life to being a financial advisor. They hired the bank. They were a teller, passed a license, did this, did that. Like, there's no perfect one.
Right.
So what you need to do, because it's your money, you need to be able to, when you have this intersection of the three worlds, you have to be able to kind of stand in the middle as a consultant thought process. And that's what we do at Life Plan. That's what true certified financial planners and fiduciaries do. They stand in the middle of the intersection and say, all right, how much money do we want to put in the bank? Because there is a certain amount you should have in the bank. You sleep well at night knowing I got 40 grand in the bank or whatever the number is. Then we need to have that much there. How much do you want in income? Well, I need this amount of income. All right, well, then we can get it from dividends, the market, or an annuity, whichever you prefer. And we choose the one that makes the most sense for you. Not the one that's best for the advisor, not the one that pays the highest commission or the highest in annual fees over the life of the contract. You want the one that makes the most sense for you. So you choose the one that gives you the most income. So maybe something from an annuity or maybe a dividend portfolio. Then how much do we have in the rest of the market? And how do we balance that out for the risk and everything else? There is no one size fits all solution. So you need to be able to have a consultant type conversation with a consultant type fiduciary who says, here's what you pay, here's what I get paid, here's what the portfolio looks like, and here's all the options. Choose the one that makes the most sense. If someone comes out and says, I'm absolutely against this every time, no matter what, I have a hard time with that. Why? Because I've seen annuities do really good things for people. I've also seen people get hosed by them. So I've seen people though right now, as we're recording this in early 2026, when the market's down, I think more of like 2022, market dropped 20% in 6 months. And yet people with the right kind of good index annuities didn't take a hit on their paycheck. There's some value to that. There are some good things to that. Now, also, they're only paying like 0.8 or 1% in fees. They're not overpaying in fees on it. So there's some value. But I've seen some other people walk in and they're paying 4.5% in fees on an annuity that can lose them money and pays them a regular level of income.
Right.
Like you're getting ripped off by this insurance company and by the guy who sold it to you. So you just have to be careful. And then you go to a stockbroker and they say, I would never touch an annuity. Why? Because there's so many bad ones, right? But are there any good ones? Are there anything in this entire industry that's worth it? They say, well, I'm not insurance licensed. I can't tell you. All right. Well, then you're a Wall Street guy. That guy's an insurance guy. That guy's a bank guy. Let's figure out what makes the most sense. So the fear that comes from how much I have to have saved often comes from, I don't understand all my options. I don't know what's available to me. I don't know what I can do or what I can't do. And as a result, I just have to go to this certain dinner seminar or watch this webinar or get this mailer and hope that I'm doing the best I can. Yeah. You want a true fiduciary to stand with you in the intersection, not leave you out there by yourself. The true fiduciary walks in the intersection with you and says, all right, let's figure this thing out. How much do you need? Where do we get it? And there's no perfect investment, but we can build a perfect portfolio that says a proper balance of diversification, different asset classes, and different tax structures can really build a successful retirement plan. That's what we should be looking for in a retirement plan, not just stockbrokers who throw you stock picks, or not just a bank that tries to get your money tied up and keep it in the bank so they can earn $9 on every dollar you give them, and not a Wall Street broker who says, I'm doing it for Morgan, I'm doing it for Wells, I'm doing it for the big shop, and you don't really get a say in your own money. So find out what makes the most sense for you, not for the financial institution, and build a portfolio that works.
Mike and his team, they are here to be that guy, those people for you. If you're looking for somebody who is an independent, who is a certified financial planner, that's what Mike is. He's happy to go through the conversation with you, understand what your options are, and of course, obviously point out the ways that you're better than just some blanket 4% rule, because that's what he does for everybody he works with, and he's here to do for you as well. So